SP.
Very good. Okay, Max, you ready?
Sure.
Kite.
Kite.
Mm-hmm.
K-I-T-E.
All right. Fiona, you ready?
Spell it.
Pine.
Pine.
Mm-hmm.
P-I-N-E.
Yep. Okay, Rupesh.
Yeah. One.
You ready?
Yeah.
Puke.
Puke. P-U-C-K. I mean, puke. Okay, I want a different one. That's what it's P-U-K-E.
How about rule?
R-U-L-E.
Okay, David, ready?
What hard one?
There aren't no hard ones in here, but okay, ready? Mice.
Mice.
Max. Mice.
M-I-C-E.
Okay.
A glass maker because I like how they shave off some of the stuff and make it look really cool.
I'm going to be a pottery maker because you get to feel how clay is and how it's made.
I want to be a glass maker because there's a lot of like engineering in it, and I like to burn stuff and make cool things.
I would like to be a pottery maker because making pottery seems really cool.
I chose a pottery maker because you can make all sorts of stuff with pottery. Bowls, you can design whatever you want, like shapes.
This way, a lot of women weren't in a big hurry to adjust if they already knew how to cook this way. And also you have to think about if there was slave labor on this plantation, there probably wasn't a lot of motivation to put money into getting the most modern equipment and that sort of thing. So the lady working at this end of the house, she'd be responsible for cooking over there, she'd be cleaning the house, doing laundry for the family. She might also be doing some of the sewing that we're doing. So if you look at our quilts, see we've got one quilt right back here that's called our 9-patch quilt. And one thing that all women have in common at this time is that you're going to know how to sew. So the woman working at this end of the house, she's going to be sewing. Mrs. Carol and her daughters, they'll be sewing as well. So it doesn't matter if you're black, white, rich, or poor, anything like that. This is something all women do. And if you're a young girl at this time, you might learn how to sew with a 9-patch pattern, just like this, because it's kind of a beginner's pattern. It's easier to learn your stitching with. And then you can work your way up to something a little more complicated, like our hole in the barn door pattern. And just like the ladies would have at this time, you're going to end up using a lot of scraps left over from making your clothes, scraps left over from clothes that are getting worn out. You might cut out the pieces that are still good, and then you take those pieces and you turn it into a blanket. So a lot of it's going to be very random like this. You see, there's not a lot of, the colors don't match, the patterns don't match. You just use whatever you can and put it towards something else. So it's also it's a way to keep warm, it's a way to express yourself, and it's a way to recycle your material so that you're not throwing anything away. Now Mrs. Carroll, she could actually buy material, she could make planned out quilts and things like that, and she could even do embroidery and those sorts of things. So she was able to do a little bit more of the fancy work, the leisurely work, while these ladies did the blankets and such that were needed for survival. So do you have any questions?
What do you think the most important thing in the kitchen is today?
I think probably the stove, because like if you want to eat salmon, if it's cold it's not going to be good, or your sandwich, if it's cold it won't be as good as heated or something like that.
And what's different about the oven today? Like what if back then they wanted salmon? I bet you they didn't eat it cold.
They back a long time ago, their ovens weren't as like they couldn't just turn a knob and it'll turn on. They would have to like put sticks in and light it.
Yeah?
I think an oven, because a oven is really important because you can cook things really fast, and oven, you can cook leftover foods, but you would have to heat them up, not back then.
And you don't have to build the fire for it too, right? You don't have to like keep the fire going.
I think the dishwasher is important because it'll take a really long time to clean the dishes and the soap, and you won't make that.
And we just watched her doing the dishes, didn't we? Yeah.
It will take about 1 day to get all those dishes clean.
Yeah, and they have to get the water there too, right?
And how would you get the water? Probably from the well. And it'll be very scary to get water from the well.
I think the most important tool in our kitchen is the oven, because that's how we make all you would have to cook stuff in it, like cookies and stuff. And pizza. Then don't forget pizza. And I think that because well, if we didn't have ovens today, we would have to go hunting for a lot of stuff, and we wouldn't have much food.
Yeah.
But the most important thing in our kitchen is the plates and bowls.
Why do you think that?
Because if we didn't have plates and bowls, we'll be eating from our hands, and our hands could...
Do you think they had plates and bowls back then, though?
Yeah, they made them out of clay, probably. I don't know.
Okay.
I think an oven, because a oven is really important because you can cook things really fast. And an oven, you can cook leftover foods, but you would have to heat them up, not back then.
And you don't have to build the fire for it too, right? You don't have to like keep the fire going.
George Washington Carver cabin, that George Washington did not need much to live, and that he did not need, and his house was very simple, and that he was born in slavery.
Why? Because they're old and there were only 200 made originally. So out of, over 130 some years, things get destroyed. Break or lost or destroyed or thrown away.
Do you know where
I live in Brighton.